Priscilla here from Baby Yum Yum, and I'm with Calvin Botha. Thank you, Calvin, for joining us.
Thank you, Priscilla.
Thank you very much. Guys, we are recognizing Blindness Awareness Week, and that's why we are with DJ Darkness.
Hey, it's good to be here.
Awesome. So, okay, DJ Darkness, Calvin Botha. Let's start from the beginning.
Yes.
Your childhood. When you were growing up, and let's start from the beginning. You are 5, but then now you are 4.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So we're quads now, but we were quintuplets born on the same day. My poor
That's
mom,
the
I don't know how she did it.
Yeah.
5 kids at the same time, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how she did that. And yeah, due to too much oxygen in the incubator, obviously that's why I lost my sight.
Okay.
And my siblings fortunately weren't as impacted as I were.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
So you had the worst impact out of the 5.
Yeah, so my eyes are my brother and sister, their one eye is blind.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, because they have perfect vision in the other, they can still live life as a sighted person would.
Okay.
Yeah.
No problem. And please give us the names of your...
Oh man, my legendary family. So my brother is Wesley.
Wesley.
Absolute legend.
Yes.
And then Candice as well. She's amazing as well. And Kirsten is my other sister. She's also really, really awesome. So
beautiful.
Amazing family. Yeah, and then there's
Do you remember your childhood? Do you remember running around?
My childhood.
Do you remember them holding you and leading you to... Like, what do you really remember of your childhood? And also the support that you continue to get from your family.
So the exciting thing about my childhood is my family didn't have time to what I call mollycoddle me. So there was no time for
Mama's time.
She was like, now listen, you are here, you are fine, you can breathe. You can run around and do everything, and I think that's one of the most important things. And so my childhood was very fond. I mean, I used to give my grandmother heart attacks. I loved climbing trees. And because I couldn't see how high I was going.
Yes.
You
just kept on going.
I was just like, yay, let's see where the top of the tree is.
You just kept on going.
I just kept on going, and I loved it. So I have fond memories of childhood. Yes. My brother and I would run around the garden. I would run into things. It's fine. Doesn't matter. My brother and I would wrestle.
So you had a complete childhood. It was
proper
like
childhood. Yeah.
Proper childhood.
Absolutely. And I was also in the hostel as well, so we also got up to nonsense there. There we were all together, right? So all the
that was during what? Your primary days?
That was during my primary school years.
They put you to hostel
they were like, listen, we've had enough of you now, you can go to the hostel. But even when I came back home, it was great because I never got treated differently from anyone else. Even in the neighborhood, like, sure, there was an underlying thing, he's blind, but it's fine. Like, we would ride scooters. There was this one time when I would fall every week on the same knee on the scooter. Like, I didn't care. It was just like going all around.
So you had a complete child. That's what I like.
And I'm grateful for that.
Okay, so that was your primary days, and you went to hostel. Then because now you have 4 around the house, and it was a full house.
It was a full house.
Calvin doesn't see. The others have at least a side vision of some. I can imagine that household. I mean,
it was chaos in the best way. It was absolutely. Yeah, it was amazing. And my parents, I don't know how they did it, but they did. They did such an incredible job, and they just, eventually we had to alter the house because it was getting too small. We had to make it bigger.
Yes.
Because it's 4 kids. But my parents, my dad and mom really raised us to the best of their abilities. Yeah.
Awesome. Then from your primary days to your secondary or high school, what was that?
Most of the fun happened at school, obviously, because then I was at school at home only on weekends.
Yes.
So, we got up to, and obviously when you, amongst people who also can't see, you come up with ways to do things,
and also support each other.
And just have a good, good time.
Yes.
And that's also what I want to tell you, is the support from my family has always been amazing. They've never limited me in that they thought I couldn't do something.
Beautiful.
And that's I'm grateful for that as well, because I know that's sometimes a tough one.
Yes.
People don't often have that support that they need, and I'm just grateful that my brother especially, all of them, like every single one of them in their own special way.
What does your brother do now?
My brother is like, he's really inspirational, man.
Is it? Like the way he supports you and the way
he supports me and the way he runs his companies as well. He's absolutely an amazing person. And
so you all grew up and did your own thing, and you're all standing on your own. All
separate, even though we were born, we all look different. We all have different personalities. We all do very different things. Very, very different. My one sister's a chemical engineer. My other sister works in travel. She does the cruises as well. Wow. And then the other one, my brother is, he did mechanical, and now he's running multiple successful businesses.
Yes.
And then here I am with my DJing and my music and my production. It's like two totally different things.
Yes.
you know.
Oh wow! Then you went to high school. Then after high school, you went to UJ, and
that was crazy because
yes,
people didn't know. So I requested that I get treated as everyone else.
That's why you went to UJ. You requested UJ.
I didn't want to be in a place where, I mean, where things were tricky, obviously where I would have needed assistance is accessibility of learning materials. And fortunately, the unit there, we just called it the unit.
Yeah.
It sounded so cool. It's like I'm going to the unit today.
Yeah.
They were very good with accessible materials. So for instance, if I needed to read a book, they would get it in an accessible PDF format. So I could use it
because
on my
you were
computer.
studying public relations, and I can imagine press releases and
Yo,
everything
man,
else.
we had to, we had to see all that. We had to do all that.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate in that there was great support there.
Yeah.
So the overarching thing was support, but in res, I mean, we did everything.
Rest was fun. I mean, I can imagine as for me as a person, it was really fun. And for you, tell me about that dress. I mean, you get onto the most hideous things because you are free and you realize now you're an adultish and you like.
Well, you think you're an adult, right? Like you assume.
Yeah, you are. But for you,
I loved it because I could walk around.
Freedom.
And even when I got lost, I didn't care because I was like, I could talk to people. I'd be like, hey, how are you today? Because we're all in the same boat, right? Like I'll walk up to people and just say, hey, what's your name? What are you guys doing? And I would often do that. That's how I'd make my friends. I would just walk up, because I would get lost a lot, but I wouldn't act like I was lost, right? I get like I knew where I was going. So I would just walk, hey, how are you? Who are you? And hey, I'm Marshall or whatever. Yeah. And like I'm on my way to this. And I'm like, oh, cool, can I come with you? And I would like,
meanwhile, you're lost.
Yeah, meanwhile, I'm lost, right? Like, I'm just like, I don't know where I'm going. Can we go to D Block, so I would like hint to a spot that I knew, and then I'd be able to go back from there. Like, okay, guys, I'll see you later,
So you are able to find your way around.
Yeah.
You live in Randburg.
Yeah. At that stage I did live in Randburg. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Now I'm in the Kailami area now.
Oh,
so,
okay.
But yeah, so back then I would just like fake it till you make it, right? You just walk around and. And then I was very fortunate, so I got a guide dog as well.
Yes.
He helped me a lot because the thing is, we know our way around. Eventually, as blind people, you learn your way around.
True.
But you need, so with a guide dog, so there's this misconception about guide dogs that he's like a robot that you say, go to church or go to school. Yeah. It's not like that. It's a team effort. So you know where you're going. He's helping you avoid obstacles so that you can actually get there quicker. So it's a 50-50 split, right?
Oh,
so I know
it's not as if that, okay.
So you don't he doesn't drive you he's not like a car. Like you walk together. So what he enabled me to do was get to places quicker. So I could if I was late, I could run to a lecture. And I know I would be able to get there without any problems, right? And that helped a lot.
Definitely.
But I couldn't miss lectures because I had a dog, right? So if there were 100 people in like a lecture hall, they know you by name.
So you had the guide dog in the.
I did, and it was res. It was. Yeah, I did. I had him in res.
Okay, and you would sleep in your room.
He would sleep under my bed there.
Yeah,
and it's funny because I could. If I didn't want someone there, he would just bark.
Okay, with the rest, what you had to do was wake up. Then there's a communal bathroom inside.
Yeah, so that
your situation there.
I know that was fine. I would just make sure there wasn't anyone too close. Like when you're into the bathroom, you don't want to be. But so I would usually take the far right or far left shower cubicle because then I'll be I won't have an awkward bump into somebody. You don't want to bump into someone in the showers. It's awkward, right? But eventually you just, and people know you, so they're also hey Darkness, how are you? Because in res I was on committees. I was there, so they would refer to me as Darkness.
This goes way back with you and
my brother came up with the name DJ Darkness.
Is it?
It was a play on the fact that I couldn't see.
Yes.
So he was like, Darkness, oh, you can't see. Oh, let's call you DJ Darkness. Okay, why not? And it's funny because people think it's an evil thing.
But it's not because
they think I'm I'm a bad dude, but I'm actually super.
I don't know. I get it. So yeah.
Yeah. So But the whole point of this is the support that I got. I'm just grateful for, and
definitely,
if you can find a system of support, keep people around you because you need people
definitely
to make your life work. Even if you can see, or anything, you have to have people around you.
Definitely. And what was the one stereotype that you hope people will really? Because it's not as if you're sitting here next to me and I'm thinking, I'm feeling there's nothing wrong, So what is the stereotype that we people need to
my goodness. So
and stigmas and let's get rid of it all. Let's talk about it and say you are Calvin Botha to me,
Yeah, so there's multiple, and I'll start with the one that always makes for interesting conversation. People talk to you like you're deaf, eh? So they'll look at you and be like, hey, how are you? And I'm like, listen, I can hear you. I cannot see you, but I can hear you. So there's two. There's that, and I always always laugh at people because I'm like, listen, we're fine. Another one is unfortunately people they don't see you as being an intelligent human being. So they think that you have other problems. They think you're
because you can't see
because you cannot see
your
you've got
mind
mental
might
problems.
be
So they and we actually just want to live lives like you guys do. We don't want to be treated differently. And I cannot speak for everybody because I don't believe in that. But for myself personally, I appreciate it the most when I rock up somewhere and it's just not
normal.
It's like
it's like Calvin just walked in, like Priscilla walks in. You know,
like when I remember this happened to me so many times. If I was playing at a club, right?
Yes.
And near the end of the set, people come to be like, "You're actually blind." I said, "Yeah, well, you guys danced. That's all that matters." You guys rocked. So people. I think all I'm trying to say is if someone has any form of disability of any sort, firstly name it as well. We don't get offended. 99% of us don't get offended easily because we've had to learn to live with it ourselves.
Yes.
So calling me things like visually impaired. No, I'm not, because visually I'm not impaired. You're calling me ugly technically, right? So like the
correct wording is
just say blind. Like in this politically correct world we're in, and I know I'm stepping on toes here, but just talk normally. Just, okay, he's blind. Okay, she's deaf. Okay, he's in a wheelchair.
Yes.
We don't get offended. It's funny, people get offended around me, for me. And I'm like, it's not a big deal. True. It's not a big deal. So just treat everyone like you would treat your friends, and also ask questions. Yeah, don't be afraid to ask questions, because I also understand that, like, I'm looking at it from your perspective. If I had to meet someone with something I've never known, like,
yes,
say, I can't think of an exact example now, but I would also be curious, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
Another thing that's also, like, there's so many things I could actually mention about stereotypes, but I think that's the one thing that just make people feel comfortable.
True.
Also, don't just touch people. If you want to help them, just don't walk up to them and touch them. Speak to them first and say, "Hey, do you need assistance?
Okay,
are you okay?"
Okay.
Like there have been,
I'm a very touchy person.
Sure.
Is it okay?
I know, but you see, I've spoken to you, right? So you wouldn't, if we were in the street somewhere, you wouldn't just come up to me and touch me.
No.
Now that's
okay.
Like with guide dogs, it used to frustrate me when people come and touch my dog, and not talk to me. I'm like, he's my guide dog. You're just distracting him. So so it's just those honestly, just treat those who you perceive to have disabilities as ordinary people. Walk up to them, talk to them, and ask questions.
Definitely.
And that's pretty much, keep it real, keep it easy, and you'll be fine.
Definitely, Calvin. That is so true. And we are so grateful, to your family that keeps you on your toes. I think they keep you on your toes.
They do, hey? I gotta be successful like them, you know what I mean?
No, they keep you on your toes, and that's really, really, really important. And also, what we as Baby Yum Yum, like, we activate for this one, that people must really support each other. We are all one family, and when you grow, I grow. When I grow, you grow.
100%.
And really, that's how it must be.
That's it.
That's really what it must be. Thank you so much, Calvin.
It's
we
such
really
a pleasure.
appreciate it.
Thanks for having me here at Baby Yum Yum.
Thank you. And also, guys,
the jobs. Talk about jobs.
Okay, you will.
I'll edit this out.
You'll edit that one. Okay.
Talk about what it is like to find a job as a.
That's a whole nother interview, but let's do it.
Okay, cool.
Let's do it.
Okay, we'll pause a bit, then we go to jobs.
Sure.
The more content I have, the better. For YouTube.
Sure. No, 100%. Because then you can edit things together in a specific way.
Okay. We'll keep. Calvin, now tell me, how is it for you there to find a job, or how hard or how easy, applying wise and getting to that interview, and actually I'm blind.
So I think for anyone these days it's hard to find a job regardless.
True.
I think it's really difficult no matter what field you're in, it's hard. So I'm just gonna be realistic and say it's very, 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 very difficult to find a job. It is incredibly, and it falls into what I was talking about earlier with people's perceptions of blind people.
Yeah.
So at job interviews I've been asked, how do I get dressed before? I've been asked, so people don't think you can actually do the work.
Oh wow!
So you'll get in there, and you will literally be asked, "Can you use a computer? Can you?" But it won't be it'll be in a
stereotype way. Like in ignorant way.
It'll be in a way that it's not. I'm trying to think of the exact words now.
Yeah.
But it's in a condescending way.
Yes.
So yes, it is incredibly tricky. to find work, and I think it's like that across the world because of, unfortunately, the stereotype of blindness.
Yeah.
People think you can't, and I mean, I guess I can't say I can't blame them, but at the same time, I just wish that people would be more open to actually hiring those. I mean, in the end, I mean, if you cannot do it, don't hire me, for instance. But yeah, it's applying can be tricky. Sometimes websites like PNet cannot be accessible. Well, PNet is actually accessible, so that's a bad example. But there have been portals that I've used that are not accessible. You have to add documentation, and sometimes there are things you cannot see to do.
Definitely.
People are working on that, but it is definitely, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is very, very difficult.
Okay, take us to your first interview, or the one maybe interview that you remember that went so bad. You thought these questions are really not for the job, and just for me being blind. I just like, it's about me.
Yeah, I got there, and it was basically for a communication position.
Yes.
I'll keep it anonymous, obviously.
Yes. Yeah.
And the questions were just so incredibly, they were like something you would ask someone who's, I don't know, 4 years old, 5 years old.
Wow.
So it would be things like, wow, I see you dressed. I see you shaved. How did you shave? I said to them, how did you shave? I mean, I have a razor.
Yes, yeah.
Clothing thing really got me.
Yes.
I arrived there, and they were fine until they discovered I couldn't see. That's what happened. Because by then I had my certifications, I had my degrees, and everything was cool until I told them I couldn't see. So people sometimes, and this is probably deceptive, but we don't say it until it's necessary, because there are those check boxes you can say disabled or not.
Yes.
And
some others don't put those check boxes.
They don't
and
put it in
you
there.
just assume that they are willing or accepting even.
So then you don't want to be stereotyped from the get-go. So you put these check boxes in, or you don't put them in, but you have to eventually let them know. That's the thing, because obviously there might be certain things you need to know to get there.
Yeah.
For instance, if they tell me it's this building, it's that place, I got to know that. I mean, I guess everyone needs to know that, so that's a stupid thing to say. But yeah, in summary, it's the one thing I can honestly say that's difficult. I mean, the drives for accessibility are, unfortunately, in this front only skin deep. There is no actual, there's no actual culture to actually get. It looks like there is. So when you go on social media, you'll see people say things like, "Oh, we're inclusive, etc., etc." But it's mostly to actually save face.
Definitely, because when you get face to face with that panel that's doing the interview, it's the
it's
questions,
a problem.
as you say.
Yeah,
it's like, how can you ask me that question?
Ask me those questions. Fortunately, I'd say it's been like 50-50, so
yes.
half of the experiences have been great. Like I've been on panel interviews where
yes.
it was fine. And then the other 50% is like, you can tell they're looking at you strange. You're like, how are you even here? Like, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be like totally stupid. You're not supposed to be able to do things.
Oh wow. And tell me your first, the interview that you remember that went so well and you got hired for it.
That was an interview based purely on merit.
Yes.
Okay, so they went down to business. They asked me the usual questions. It was also hard because it's hard in general.
Yes.
But they hired me based on what I could do.
Yeah.
And they were willing to make concessions, get a computer, get the software.
Yes.
And it just went well. I mean, I went there. There was no, oh, you're blind. There was more like, what can you do for us? And that's also the way I think in general. People must also think if they do approach a company.
Yes.
Sure, you need to also get a salary. You need to do what you do, but
yeah.
what can you actually do for them? Which I think is very important. You can't just go there with your hand open all the time as well.
Definitely.
Because it's definitely a mindset thing as well. We can all sit and complain about it being difficult, but if you really feel like you can do something for a company, you need to know what that is so that they can see you as an asset.
Definitely, Calvin.
So, yeah.
That's true. So that's one thing that we must take.
Definitely. Yeah, you've got to be willing to serve in your capacity. You've got to know what you can bring.
Okay. And currently, what are you doing? Are you employed? Are you doing your own thing? Are you doing your own music? What are you doing now?
So currently, I hate to use the word self-employed,
yes.
But I do all my work. I'm a freelancer, let's put it that way.
Okay.
So I'll work with multiple companies, and I'll do, at the moment I'm working with a lot of different artists in multiple genres in music. So I'll do the full process from recording in the studio all the way to final mix and master.
Yeah.
And then I also work with companies who do adverts. So I will do the music for the adverts. If they need to have ADR or voiceover recorded at my studio, I do that.
Okay.
And then I also do music for instance, videos. So say for instance, someone needs a certain type of music for a certain campaign, I will do that. So that's my work. So it's all over. It's all the audio as well. Podcasts, I also do record various podcasts in my studio as well for various clients.
Awesome.
So yeah, so that's what I do. So just a lot of different things, freelancing. That's my that's what I do.
Awesome. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us at Baby Yum Yum and recognizing Blind Awareness Week with Calvin Botha. Thank you so much. You've taught us so much. I know a lot now, and I know not to touch. I must first ask how, and don't talk loud. Like, you are a genius. I mean, the stuff that I hear coming from you and the merits that you have and what you've gone through. Like, I'm so amazed. And thank you so much for taking the time to come through and see us at Baby Yum Yum.
Thanks for having me. It's been
a pleasure.
Thank
you, Baby Yum Yummers. As always, we are there.